Benchmark coming to you live from $1 Million Studios. Your boys, Speez,
a.k.a. the White Diamond.
And the benchmark of professional wrestling, Mr. Silky Baines.
See, I gave you a good one.
That was good.
See, every now
you
and
got
then.
one for you? No?
No.
God damn it. Speez on the Benchmark Show on a Thursday night, January 31st, 2019. We're already through January, for crying out loud. Time just flying by. Welcome to all of you watching us here on Periscope and over on the YouTubes. Hopefully those of you up in the Northeast in the middle of the winter vortex. It's crazy that Sounders on, you watch the news and you would swear the world's ending. Those of you dealing with the winter vortex, I hope you're doing all right. Hope you'll share the program. All of you with us on Periscope, share it there with the Periscope folks and over on Twitter. And make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already, because we always appreciate that. And your boys here found out today our first check from Periscope for all the super hearts that you've been sending to us. It's on its way.
Boom.
So that's fantastic. Thanks to all of you. Again, if you want to support the program, what we're doing here, you can drop those super hearts over on Periscope, or you can hit us up at the tip jar. tinyurl.com/SB tip jar is the website to get in there, because
these bills need to get paid.
Indeed they do, and we actually got some money in to pay them, so that's a great thing. And, of course, if you want to get in on the discussion tonight, you can do so on the phone lines. 832-937-4559 is the number to get in.
That's 832-93-SILKY!
832-93-SILKY. We're going to talk some WWE news this week. We've started hearing about folks coming to the end of their tenure at WWE, and it'll be interesting to see whether or not this is, in fact, the start of a trend, and we start to see more of this, or if maybe this is just part of doing business. The cost of doing business, as they say. We've already lost a couple of guys in the last few months, and now it looks like Ambrose and Hideo Itami are on their way out, and we'll talk about Ambrose in particular, because some people seem to think that even that's bullshit.
It could be a work.
It could be.
I mean,
so we will get to that here shortly.
And just the fact that they're publicly saying that he will not sign, like that. When have you known WWE to just be like, okay, we can't retain our talent? You know what I mean?
Yeah. They
wait until they come to agreement to leave, and then they just give the generic, he will not be with us or whatever. But to say when his contract is a couple months out, from 2 or 3 months actually, because I think it's supposed to end sometime after WrestleMania, and to say now that he will not sign, it just it smacks of like it actually being a work.
Yeah, it could be. And shout out to you, Alistair Feed, over there on the YouTubes, and welcome to all of you that are over there with us. We'll get into that here shortly, because I saw somebody I would give credit. I want to say it's the fella that does his podcast with our buddy Darren Kirby from across the pond, who said basically somebody announces that somebody in WWE is leaving, and the fans say, I'm not believing shit till I hear it from WWE. And then WWE comes out and says, and then they say, I'm not believing that shit because it's coming from WWE. It's got to be a work. I mean, that's pretty much what people do.
I think that I personally feel like it is, just because, like I say, I've never really known them inside the work to just publicly out that talent is leaving.
Yeah, it's certainly. It'll be interesting. We'll talk about it here in a few. And, of course, we got to get to the latest edition of the Benchmark Power Rankings this week.
We do.
Top 5 wrestlers of the week that was.
Be ready. We're going to argue.
Yeah, we are going to argue about it, because Silky's rankings this week are completely insane. And you're going to see why they're insane here shortly.
Not. And then you had the one job. I told you to get my Birdman sound, to put some respect on it.
Exactly, the
Birdman. Because that's what you're going to need to be doing after I give these rankings.
See about that.
Put some respect on my rankings.
Was it JPQ, Mr. Warren Hayes? I don't know who it was. And welcome to you, Warren and Jim.
Warren.
And all of you. We got some super hearts coming in there. I don't know who dropped them there, because I can't
Bill.
see. Bill, thank you, Bill. We appreciate that, good sir. And we hope all of you will continue to do the same. So once again, if you haven't shared the program, please feel free to do so. And we'll talk about all that stuff. Now, another way you can support the program, because, we sometimes get through the show and we forget to pimp it. Right here, baby. Look at it. Look at that. Look at that. Warning. Heel turn imminent. It's coming here shortly after we put up with this Silky rankings bullshit here shortly. Look at that t-shirt. It's clean. It's nice. It's fantastic. We got them. Bargain price, $20. Hit us up at Speez Benchmark on Twitter, and we'll get you hooked up. There's plenty of people out there in the Speez and the Benchmark universe that got them. Shout out to you again, this time over on the Periscopes, Alistair Fiend. He's just hopping back and forth. I guess he got lonely over there on the YouTubes. But so it goes.
Jody.
Hello, Jody. Good to see you. And good to see all you guys. 832-937-4559 if you want to get in on the phone lines. Let's get right to it, Silky.
Let's do it.
We got the...
Where's my animation?
We got the... I got the graphics for you. Bam, look at it. The benchmark power rankings, folks, for the week of January 27, 2019. The top 5 wrestlers of the week. The 5 wrestlers who had the best week. Now, this is Royal Rumble weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of good shit going on, and a lot of people had a lot of good things happening. So I was expecting a pretty damn solid benchmark power rankings this week.
It is solid.
I'm not saying that it's not.
Fuck
so
you mean?
We're going to reveal it right now, starting with number 5, Silky. Here we go. Number 5 on the benchmark power rankings
is Villain Enterprises. PCO and Brody King, they won Tag Wars out in San Antonio. I was there. I was part of the melee. So not only do they get a tag team title shot at the Ring of Honor anniversary show, they also get a spot in the newly minted Crockett Cup.
NWA old school Crockett Cup.
So, and just I was there, and it's partial to, like, I was there firsthand to see the craziness of PCO and Brody against Juice and Dave Finley, and then bringing the Briscoes at the end.
Out, and it was insanity afterwards.
Insanity.
So you're not coloring your
no, I'm not.
Your pick here by the fact that you were involved and actually got into it with Brody King.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, that's okay. I suppose you can do that. It's your fucking ranking.
Yeah,
you
it's
can do
my
whatever
fucking
you
ranking.
want. Let's move on to number 4.
And the number 4, Johnny Gargano, the new NXT North American champion.
Beat my boy Ricochet.
Yeah, he did. And it was a damn good match. And on top of that, coming out in the Royal Rumble, doing pretty good there. I mean, and then let's talk, not to mention the potential, I say with air quotes, heel DIY reunion, which led to the high school kid fight, or the elementary kids fight that's setting up halftime heat. So I did not like the shoving and all that, like, you know, because I feel like these are grown men and they should have, you know, if it's that much of a problem, they should have been fighting. But just for the simple fact of he won the NXT North American Championship, he was in the Royal Rumble, and now he's going to be he's in the match for halftime heat, which is something they haven't done in years. I had to put Gargano up there.
Gargano at number 4. Yeah, Bob Ruski says PCO's like 50. Yeah,
yes, he is.
And he's still insane.
Crazy.
Still certifiably insane. I'm guessing Alistair Fiend is booing Johnny Gargano. I don't think he's a fan. But, we'll argue with the rankings here when we get done. Let's keep moving. Yeah. On to number 3.
Number 3, Finn Balor. Now, I know you're wondering why.
This is a controversial pick.
Yeah.
We'll get to it shortly, but go ahead.
My reason is that, one, he took it to Brock Lesnar and made you believe that he could actually beat him, which we were discussing. You said he had no chance in hell. And part of me thought that even though I picked him, I was kind of along the same line. Like, I just felt more of how they were building it, that it would more seem like Balor would win. But it wasn't the typical Brock Lesnar against small guy match. I mean, he took it to him. He didn't back off, and he took everything Brock had. And I love the finish of putting him in the submission. And obviously, he's too small. He can't drag Brock, so he had to tap out. I mean, it was great. And just off that alone, you stand toe to toe with Brock Lesnar, giving up that much size and make it believable, make me believe that, you know, even looking as a fan, not as a worker, make me look as a fan and say, wow, you know what? I thought he could have won that match. You got to go on my list.
All right. Finn Balor at number 3 on this week's Benchmark Power Rankings.
And
on
here's
number
where
2.
we get the controversy. Number 2, Seth frickin' Rollins. Now, of course, he won the Royal Rumble. The reason I don't put him at number 1 for winning the Rumble is the fact that it felt like we all pretty much knew. I mean,
it was somewhat of a
I chose McIntyre, but it was McIntyre Rollins. I mean, I made that known, like, it's one of those two were winning it. And so it kind of lost the fact that you knew, and then I feel like as a face, he should have been in the match more and not done the go through the table and laid out for a lot of the match and come back and win it. I think as a heel, yes, that's what you do. But as a face, he needs to be in there every minute and get the win. So, and then the fact that he got in Lesnar's face again, and even though it didn't work out for him, I mean, it's still, it shows that he has the heart and that, he's ready for Brock Lesnar. So I had to put him at number 2.
Alistair Fiend says it's a no-brainer. And number 1 on this week's Benchmark Power Rankings,
the man, Becky Lynch. And I know people are going to wonder about that because here's my rationale is that, one, she had a great match. Take away the finish. Like, of course, we can debate all day whether we liked the finish, whether liked her tapping out or not. But it was a great match. And with Asuka in the Royal Rumble for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Then she gets herself into the Royal Rumble and wins it and goes to she's going to WrestleMania, and the epic moment of her choosing Ronda Rousey and, knowing that realistically this is the main event. Like, I know there's people like the main event is your highly pushed match, but in a working standpoint, the main event is the match that goes on last because that's the match you save your best for last, right? So Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey most likely will be the main event. So for those reasons, I put her at number 1. I know you were bitching about, she got beat up.
Oh, we're going to mention my bitching here in just a minute. Yeah. Shout out to you, Tara, and thank you to Otis Section for the Super Hearts there. We appreciate that. So to recap here, the Benchmark Power Rankings for the week of January 27, 2019.
Number 5 was Villain Enterprises. Number 4 was Gargano. Number 3 was Finn Balor. Number 2 was Seth Rollins. And number 1, the man, Becky Lynch.
There you have it, folks. The Benchmark Power Rankings for the week of January 27th, 2019. Okay, it's a regular segment we do here on the program every Thursday. Silky's going to tell you his top 5. And immediately followed by another regular segment here on the program where I tell Silky that his rankings are horse shit. And he's completely insane. Okay, where the fuck is Brock Lesnar? Here's why Brock Lesnar belongs on that list, and Brock Lesnar haters can fucking suck it because, look, here's why he belongs on the list. Number 1, he retained his Raw Universal Championship by beating down Finn Balor. And you could say it was a competitive match, and it was, of course. I mean, it wasn't going to be a fucking squash match. So, tip of the cap to Finn Balor.
Yeah, well.
Come on.
But let's think about this. The reason I didn't put him on there.
Shit, hold on.
What?
WWE is fake.
Wow.
Well, what the fuck are we doing?
Oh, damn.
And we should just shut the shit down.
No, we shouldn't. We're getting paid. Fuck that.
Oh, okay. All right, never mind. Anyway, you were saying.
The reason I didn't put Brock Lesnar on the list is it was kind of like the same reason Seth Rollins didn't get number 1 for winning the Rumble is because it was kind of known that this was probably going to happen.
Yeah, but he wins against Finn Balor. Internet fucking fanboys wet dream, Finn Balor. Mm-hmm. They love him. He gets the victory, retains his title, and then the guy who wins the Rumble comes out and tries to, basically wants to face Brock Lesnar and say, okay, I'm going to pick you. And Brock Lesnar kicks the shit out of the guy and totally fucking mops the floor with that guy. Brock Lesnar proved, without a shadow of a doubt, that he is the biggest badass in WWE, period, end of story. I'm not saying you want to put Becky Lynch number 1, fine. But we're going to argue about that here in a minute, too. But Brock Lesnar, he's got to be in the top 5. He's got to be in the top 5.
He's got to be in your top 5.
He's absolutely got to be in the top 5.
This is not Speez power rankings. This is the benchmark power rankings. And
shout out
just
to the Queen of New England and to John Baez. Good to see you guys.
Now, would you have put, name someone on my list you wouldn't have put, and outside of maybe
Finn Balor. Finn Balor does not make the list this week.
Okay.
For this week,
yeah,
Finn Balor does not make the list.
And why does he not make the list?
Because he lost.
So basically all you care about is wins and losses.
When we're talking about the week, like if this is a cumulative
but this is
thing,
wrestling though. You can look better, and sometimes you look better in defeat than you do in victory.
There's no fucking way that Finn Balor looked better than Brock Lesnar.
No, not look better than Brock Lesnar because Brock Lesnar won.
So at that point, Brock Lesnar's got to be on there ahead of Finn Balor.
Not necessarily.
You just said he didn't look better than Brock Lesnar.
No, I'm saying he may not necessarily look better than Brock Lesnar, but he came out looking better. Put it like this: in the match,
you have more respect for Finn Balor at the end of that match than you did at the beginning.
Exactly.
Is what you're saying.
And because of that, because it was unknown, it's like Brock Lesnar going against fucking little bitty Finn Balor. You knew pretty much Brock Lesnar was going to win. So the fact, now I give Brock props, and he was almost there of making my list, but it was just I had to keep it because it was so, expected that. I
totally disagree, but that's okay. Like you say, it's benchmark rankings. It's cool. Finn also got his ass kicked on Raw by Lashley and Lio Rush. This is true. Finn looked great. Brock did hook him up too. Yeah, definitely. I mean, Brock's a fucking pro. He does what he does. And other folks saying that Seth Rollins laid outside. Didn't step up like a man and face everybody. Not like the man, but like a man. But okay, that's fine. Okay, now Becky Lynch. Come on. She fucking lost the title match.
She did.
She lost the title match.
But it was a great match.
That's great that she won the Rumble, but she tapped out and lost the title match. And then 2 nights later, she got bitch slapped by Charlotte and basically got beat down by Charlotte. I said this on Twitter earlier this week. I basically said, I know why wrestling Twitter likes Becky Lynch so much. I've figured it. I've solved the puzzle. And here's what it is. She's just like wrestling Twitter. She's exactly like 90% of these fuckers. They talk all kinds of shit online, but when push comes to shove and they get in a fight, they end up getting their ass kicked. Okay. And that's what's happening with Becky Lynch. She talks all kinds of shit online. And who the fuck is Becky Lynch beat except winning those couple matches against Charlotte? She gets her ass kicked all the time. She lost the title match. She got her ass kicked by Charlotte again on SmackDown. But she's the fucking man, and I got strong.
Okay, so Stone Cold
Twitter
the man?
game and blah, 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 blah.
So Stone Cold
that noise.
Stone Cold the rattlesnake?
Absolutely.
Okay, but most of the times he got his ass whooped, right? I mean, hell, he got his ass whooped by McMahon. The owner that at the time was like 60-something years old.
And I'll bet you wouldn't have put him in your power rankings if he got whooped by the fucking McMahon that week, would you?
Maybe not. Probably
Definitely not. Listen to Warren Hayes. Make sure Chris understands how wrong he is.
Yes,
all I'm saying is,
wrong.
If you're doing
because
rankings
you're looking
for the
at
week,
on the basis level, the most basic, like
tapped
simple,
out and lost the title match, got the shit kicked out of her and Charlotte.
Won the Rumble. So you're okay with me putting Seth on there? Then by that matter, I should take Seth off because he got his ass whooped by Brock, and I'm talking about more than Finn.
But Seth didn't lose a match at Royal Rumble.
He won the Royal. Yes, he won the Royal Rumble.
He won the Royal Rumble.
But so did Becky.
Becky's biggest match of the weekend was there's nothing bigger than a title match.
The fucking Royal Rumble.
No.
That's why the pay-per-view is named after it. That's why it goes fucking last.
Come on.
Yes, because Royal Rumble is the precursor to WrestleMania. And
that's fine.
This is what sets us on the path to WrestleMania. So therefore, the Royal Rumble is the biggest thing. No one cares about the title match except for the fact of seeing who's going to be in WrestleMania. I guarantee you.
You gotta care about the title match. That's the whole point of having titles. So
I'm saying in this time period, the Royal Rumble season, you more care about who's going to win the Royal Rumble than who's the champion. You care about the title matches because your fantasy book in your mind, well, if this person wins the Rumble, I want to see this person win that title match. But it all comes down to you want to see who wins that Royal Rumble because that dictates what you're going to see at WrestleMania.
Get off my fucking lawn, Warren Hayes. I'm not a grumpy old man. I just dropped the get off my lawn in there. No. Asuka and Brock Lesnar not being on this list is a fucking travesty is all I'm saying. Well, that's all I'm saying. Because Asuka looked fantastic.
No, she did look fantastic.
And she got a win against the biggest name in the company right now.
Yeah, but unfortunately that was overshadowed by Becky winning the Rumble. Now, Becky doesn't win the Rumble, Asuka goes on that list. Because the bottom line is, for Royal Rumble, the Royal Rumble is bigger than the title. So, you win the Royal Rumble, put it like this. Asuka beat one person. Becky Lynch beat, even though she came in late, we'll say at least 3 to 4 people.
Settle this in the ring, says Babaruski. Silky's about to get the tables.
So, that's why Becky's number 1 on the list. And that's why Brock Lesnar's not on the list. I mean, there's valid reasons for these. You just don't like them because you're not a Becky Lynch fan.
They're valid in your mind. They're valid.
You're not a Becky Lynch fan, so you already said. So me putting her on anywhere, you're probably gonna have a problem with because you just don't like her.
Number 1, that's a stretch, but that's okay. That's okay. That's why we have these things so that people can, like Jody, can grab the popcorn And, guys like NoFX fan can try to get you to fucking pimp slap me, which ain't going to happen. NoFX fan trying to talk all that shit. Asuka needs to win the SmackDown title. Wait, Asuka needs to win the SmackDown title. Can't be trash. You still need to make her look good. Okay, yeah,
But
okay.
Isn't she?
She won a match she wasn't in, says It's Me WB.
Yeah, so, I mean, she still won the Royal Rumble.
Sasha says, I'm a Becky fan now. And Asuka was nowhere to be seen on SmackDown. Yeah, what's up with that? She's only the fucking champ. Why would we have her on the show?
Because guess what? It's all about WrestleMania, like I said. And now with Becky winning and choosing Ronda Rousey, I doubt we see Asuka in Mania, or it'd be some pre-match bullshit because, I mean...
Nah, she'll still be in Mania.
I doubt it. I mean,
who
do you put her against?
This is the women's revolution, Silky.
Who do you put her against that people want to see?
Oh, fuck, I don't know.
Exactly, that's my point. There's no one really, because we saw...
They'll put her against somebody, from Raw. They'll put her against fucking Nia Jax or something
they won't.
like that. Yeah, they will.
No.
It'll be somebody from Raw. Who's she going to fight on SmackDown? Or they'll put her against Nikki Cross or some shit. I don't know.
But still, my point being is that there's no one there for her to fight that draws that, ooh, I want to see this match. Because nobody, I mean, though it was a great match, I mean, it was a little bit underwhelming to see her go against Charlotte again. You know what I mean? Because with Becky going to Raw to take the fight Ronda, obviously that means that most realistically that Charlotte's going to be the one that stepped to go against Asuka.
What's up, Kyle? We're doing well, man. We're just arguing like we do. That's what we do. It's kind of that. It's kind of that thing. Sasha Reigns is a Becky fan now. Yeah. Maybe she'll be Becky Reigns going forward. Well, let's get over to the phone lines. We got somebody on the phone lines right now, so I have a feeling it might be. Oh, it's Glenn. Glenn, what's going on, sir? How are you?
Good. How you guys doing?
Doing very well, sir. What's on your mind, man?
Yeah, I just came across your Periscope cast and I stopped in and I got intrigued by it, so I wanted to stop in and just. I just want to know. I mean, do you think that if God willing, that what's his name didn't go out with the cancer? Do you think that this situation will be any different? That maybe Ambrose wouldn't leave, or do you think this is just like a situation where they're panicking because the storylines are getting all messed up and they're just throwing Brock Lesnar in there because they have him? You know, I mean, I'm honestly, I'm tired of Brock Lesnar. I mean, I really am. He's the worst champion that's ever been in wrestling. He comes in, he does an F5, and he leaves, and that's it. He gets a check at the door from McMahon and leaves.
Well, Glenn, I'm glad you. I'm glad you found us. First of all, well, let me jump in here real quickly. So, talking about Roman Reigns and whether or not things would still be in the same. I mean, obviously things would not be the same if not for the issue with Roman Reigns. Dean Ambrose in particular, and we're going to get to talking about him shortly. His is a unique case, and there's still people talking about how maybe the Dean Ambrose thing is a work. Maybe he's not really going anywhere. But yeah, I mean, as far as is WWE panicking and kind of throwing things together last minute, I won't say that they're panicking necessarily, but it's. I'm not going to sit here and say that that's the reason that the storylines have been crappy, because they've been crappy for a while now.
Yeah.
But it's certainly not helping when you have so much of this shit going on. I mean, if you look at just over the last year, the sheer volume of guys that have been injured and missed time and all this other kind of shit, I mean, it can't help but throw a wrench into things, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would definitely say that, being on that end.
I mean, don't you think they have enough great talent that they can push to get, I help them get over this hump? And maybe if somewhere in the line they, put Ambrose in the mix and maybe didn't have him an enemy of Rollins now, that maybe Ambrose might have stayed, and then, things might have looked up. I mean, I'm still a Cena fan. I like Cena, even though, he's getting, not there. And, people are coming in and out of the WWE like it's a revolving door, like The Rock and everything, to do movies. I can understand wanting to do movies, but they're hurting. They're hurting for talent. I mean, they got great talent there. They have some great talent. They just have to push that talent. Like, I'm glad they're pushing The Miz and McMahon. That's great.
Oh, McMahon.
I think I think they would have put. I like Balor. I really expected Balor to come into the Royal Rumble as the Demon and destroy Lesnar. That would have been great.
Well, what do you think? Let's get into this, Silky, because his complaint is what a lot of people have. Mm-hmm. Why are they not pushing certain people? Don't they have enough talent to go around that there should be somebody to step in and fill the void when somebody else gets injured?
In my opinion, when you get around this time, it's WrestleMania season. WrestleMania, you go with your proven talent. The people you know will make money. So you don't have necessarily the time to try something out that may or may not work. So that's why you will always see like Brock Lesnar in the title picture, because guess what? Brock Lesnar's a proven talent. He's made the money on the grandest stage of them all. He's made them so much money. And so they're going to err on that, because as fans, you forget that sometimes that this is still a business.
No question.
And when I say that, I mean business as in money. And it's about what's going to bring the most money.
Which is why Brock Lesnar's champion.
Yeah.
And why Ronda Rousey's champion. Yeah.
The numbers prove it. I mean, as much as I may not agree with Brock Lesnar being a part-time champ the way he is, but the numbers prove that when Brock Lesnar is on Raw, more people are watching. When Brock Lesnar is on the pay-per-view, more people are watching than when he's not. So you have to put him there.
I agree. Well, Glenn, I'm glad you found the program, man. I hope you'll come back and join us sometime. And it's certainly an awkward situation with all the injuries that we're having now that AEW is a thing. Obviously, these guys have another spot where they can potentially go and make a decent amount of money. So, it could very well be a scenario where if the newer guys aren't getting pushed like you're talking about, then you could very well see these guys moving on. So we'll see what happens. Anything else you want to get in before we let you go, Glenn?
No, I understand his comment. That it is a business, and I understand what he's saying about Lesnar brings the people to the event. It's just, and I don't know if it's just because we're programmed to do that, but you hear the audience not like disapprove of it, But I mean, you have to wonder, it's a business, but do you really want to push your universe fans to the edge where, all of a sudden now they're going to have like a distaste for, the WWE because they're not like they said at the beginning of the year, listening to us.
And that's another thing
about what we want.
Yeah, exactly. I know what you're saying, Glenn. We're going to let you go, Glenn, because we got another caller on hold here. Okay. But I appreciate the phone call, buddy, and I definitely see what you're getting at. The thing about are we going to, do they want to push fans away? Do they want to push fans to the point to where they're going to leave? Here's the thing. The hardcore fans, they're not going anywhere. WWE fans who have been watching this hardcore all the time, they're going to say, I'm canceling my network subscription. I've had enough of this shit, blah, 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 blah. They don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
They're back again. And we've said this a million times. And I firmly believe this. And I think people who are smart to the business tend to think along the same lines. WWE doesn't have to try to get the hardcore fans.
No.
That's what hardcore fans have got to understand. It's not us that they got to satisfy. It's the guys who don't necessarily have network subscriptions yet.
Or like, I'll put it like this. When I had my trial years ago and I sat with Regal, what he told me was that, in a stadium of like 15,000 people, about 2,000 of them are going to be your hardcore fans. So you have them, so you don't play to them. And the rest of them are going to be like about 8 to 9 will be like your regular fans that you don't really play to them because they're gonna like it too. Who you pander to is that dad who is only there because his kids love wrestling.
Exactly right.
And if you can get him engaged and liking the product, then guess what? You're making so much money because then he's going to spend all this money on buying his kids the stuff that you're trying to shill at the merchandise booth.
Absolutely true.
So that's what it's about. It's not about us, all of us, even in the chat room.
As much as it can be.
Yeah. I mean, they do stuff that's a nod that they know we'll enjoy, but at the end of the day, who they're trying to get is that casual watcher who is only watching because like, oh, my kid loves wrestling and WrestleMania's here, so he's going to have a bunch of friends over. I'm going to sit down and watch it with them. That guy.
Yeah.
If they can get that guy, all the people like that, then they make more money.
Yeah. And Ray, we're going to get to you on the phone lines here in just a minute. And just to further clarify what we're saying, we're not making, or I'm not going to speak for Silky, I'm not making excuses for the writing being shitty. And I'm not making excuses for the storylines being shitty. They can be better. They should be better. But the point is, there are things that hardcore fans expect from WWE that aren't necessarily on the highest spot on the priority list for WWE, because they're trying to bring in new business. They're trying to bring in that younger audience. That's why it's a PG program now. And there are just things that, us hardcore fans aren't always going to get, because it's not always about us. Let's get caught up on the chat here, because we're quite behind. Is Triple H fighting Dean at WrestleMania 35? Well, it certainly doesn't look that way. We can see. And NoFX says, what happens when Brock leaves? They're fucked. And Dr. Huge talked about this on his other show, on his show the other day. Who the fuck is even close to being as big a star? And I'm not talking about a wrestling star. I'm talking about a star as Brock Lesnar. There's nobody even close to Brock Lesnar, except maybe John Cena.
Yeah.
John Cena is that guy.
But
and
John Cena is kind of like Brock, where he doesn't come in. So
exactly.
And I don't know at his age, like, if he necessarily wants to, especially with all the money he's making outside of wrestling. I don't think he wants to return to a full-time schedule and beat his body up because the company has nowhere to go.
Exactly. Get the Table says, hopefully the threat of AEW will have WWE step up their game. That's the idea. Michael Joseph Murray, indeed, lots of great content on WWE Network. Do you think WrestleMania will be 8 hours this year? Probably so. Let's see. God damn it, can you turn off your Periscope? I got to figure out the moderation, Bob Ruski. I just said I need to make you a fucking moderator so that you can do whatever it is you want to do. Yeah, Mike, I don't think AEW is going to try to beat WWE head to head. It's just not going to happen, because number one, it's not going to happen. They're not going to do it. And number two, I don't think that's a high priority for them. I think their idea is we're gonna provide an alternative, and fans who are sick of WWE, those hardcores, we're gonna give you something else to spend your money on. We're gonna give you something else to come and do.
I saw the greatest meme that kind of encapsulates AEW perfectly, and it's basically, until they have a match, AEW is just a t-shirt design.
That's exactly right.
Because that's all they've really produced for us, because, it's about what's in the ring.
Exactly. What's up, Steve Weiser? It's good to see you as well, sir. So let's get over here to the phone lines again. It says, Ray, this is Roman, right? But we shall see. What's going on, man? You're on the Speez and the Benchmark Show. How are you, sir?
It's Sasha Reigns.
Sasha Reigns, of course. See the auto screener, man. The one time we don't have DJ here because he's got family stuff going on. We got the craziness going. Sasha, make sure we're not on speakerphone so we can hear you well. And shout out to you, Turnbuckle Chick and Steve Weisers, for the super hearts there. We appreciate it, you guys. What's on your mind, Sasha Reigns? How are you?
I have some news about Roman.
Of course you do. What's happening?
He finally made an Instagram account.
Okay, then. Roman Reigns' Instagram account. Tell everybody what it is so they can go follow, because they'll want to see it.
At Roman Reigns.
Well, that would make sense. At Roman Reigns. Have you seen the pictures of him in the movie with The Rock?
Yes, that's the other thing. Like, it's called Hobbs and Shaw, and he's supposed to play The Rock's brother.
Yeah, you psyched about that?
So it's a spinoff of the Fast and the Furious.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, because Rock played Hobbs in Fast and the Furious.
There you go. All right, then. What else is new, Sasha? What did you think of the Royal Rumble this past weekend? Happy that Seth got the win?
I didn't like Nia Jax entering the men.
Yeah, I wasn't thrilled about it when it happened, but honestly, when the train was run on Nia Jax there, for those of you that watched Smart Tears this past Monday, I thought that was a great moment. It was a lot of fun.
I mean, I like the only thing is, like, I'm a big fan of continuity, and my question is, why did Becky do all the pleading with Finlay? Because one, like, who is Finlay? I mean, I know who Finlay is, but like, it's never been established that he is
he's the guy you got to convince.
Yeah. So, and then she convinces him to get in the women's rumble, yet Nia Jax just walks in like nobody said shit.
Yeah, exactly. And shout out to you, Juanito, and Kristen. You made it. Good. Glad to hear it. What else, Sasha Reigns? What's going on?
I think that they should allow men to enter the women's, like how they allowed Nia Jax.
Well, people have said that, and because we had that shit with Santino Marella and silliness like that. I think those days are over and done with. Nice to see that our auto screener is calling you Black Diesel there, Mac Diesel. We'll get to you here shortly.
Black Diesel. That's going to be my new one.
Exactly. All right, Sasha, we appreciate the phone call, ma'am, and we will look forward to more Roman Reigns news as it comes in because you're always keeping us in the loop. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, have a good night. Sasha Reigns with us here on the Speez and the Benchmark Show. Let's just keep it rolling. The phone lines are blowing up here tonight, Silky. So we'll just take the next one in line here. What's going on, caller? You're on the Speez and the Benchmark Show.
Hi, this is Chris.
Chris Surratt, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
So I heard that some people have been saying that WWE is going to get better if AEW does a war with them. That's what I heard.
Well, and
that'll
that's
get more better.
Kind of what we've been saying, that just the competition itself is nice.
Because, Vince has even gone on saying, like, when they did their best TV, it was back in the Attitude Era because there was self-preservation. There was a fear that you could go under, so they had to keep stepping their game up. Right now, they're cool to rest on their laurels and because there's nothing else around.
Yeah.
So AEW becomes a viable alternative, then it's going to make the WWE in response go and up their game.
They got to step their game up, most definitely. Daniel Price says Rock's pretty much hijacking the Fast and Furious franchise. So, indeed, he is.
He is franchise Viagra.
That's right. What else is going on, Chris?
I can't wait for Seth Rollins since Brock Lesnar match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, totally with you there, man. Totally with you. We're going to let you go, Chris, because we got the full phone lines here tonight. But yeah, look, Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar it's kind of like the Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey match. It's the match that everybody wanted to see.
Now, my only issue with it is that I feel like you could have got some drama out of it to get more people to watch to see but then, depending on what they do next week, now that we know it's set, it's going to be Brock and Seth and Ronda and Becky.
Right.
We'll see how. I think with the Ronda Becky, that one will probably be a lot better of a build just because Becky, she's SmackDown, so anytime she turns up on Raw, it's a bigger deal.
Yeah.
And then when you get Ronda possibly going over to SmackDown, then, to fuck with Becky is going to make it like that much more personal now.
Exactly.
And we know how this is going to play out with Seth and Brock, which is going to be Seth talking about it, wrestling random guys and going over, putting in good showings. And then every now and then maybe I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Brock but like 2, maybe 3 times before
he's not going to be around a whole lot.
Mania.
And again, I'm okay with that. Like,
well, here's what I'm not okay with. Like when it's a big match like this, then yeah, I would like to see him there more often to get that build.
I think
he
will be as we get closer to Mania. It's
but
just
in those rando defenses where it's like, okay, the week before they just said who was going to face him, I don't mind that because there's no real story here. But you're talking about the biggest show in the year.
No, I know, but at this point, Brock doesn't have to convince anybody of shit, and I think he pretty much knows that. Vince knows that. Everybody pretty much knows.
But you need Brock there to convince people of Seth being able to.
No,
beat
I agree.
him.
I agree. And like I said, I think he'll be around more as we get closer to WrestleMania. Kazani says James Ellsworth. Yeah, don't forget about Ellsworth. Love intergender, but was hoping Ronda would be the one after WrestleMania when she loses the title. Says Turnbuckle Chick, going out on a limb there. Oh God, imagine Lesnar in the Women's Royal Rumble. That's true. That is a nice shirt. Get the tables. Don't forget, you can get your Caution Heel Turn Imminent shirt. Warning, Heel Turn Imminent at Speez Benchmark on Twitter. He's talking about the shirt because he's got one.
Yeah,
he's got one. That's why. Kristen Ashley hiding from Warren on YouTube. That's okay. Try to get caught up on all the comments here. Should Undertaker wrestle at? Kyle's just throwing out questions left and right. Should he wrestle at WrestleMania 35 or retire at WrestleMania 35? You don't want to see him either way, do you?
No, I don't care.
One good thing I like about Brock is the memes and gifs. That's totally true. Velveteen won the North American. No Effects fan dropping spoilers for NXT. I didn't even know what the hell I was reading until I started reading it here. But we're going to get back to the phone lines here because we got our boy Black Diesel here on the phone lines.
Black Diesel, what's going on?
Man, how are you?
Hey, guys. Earlier, I just wanted to add into throw in my 2 cents on an earlier conversation you guys were having about the product being PG these days. I, for one, think it's a good thing. Though it's, cool for adults to relive moments, on TV from the Attitude Era or, even, the later 80s, possibly. I think it's awesome nowadays. A lot of us have grown up, have younger children, and we want to take our, sons and daughters to these events. And, nowadays we don't have to worry about, like Mae Young giving birth to a hand or anything.
Exactly.
No, that was bad. But I mean, admittedly, we grew up watching that, and for the most part, we all came out fine. So there's a fine line. Like, what I wouldn't want to see a storyline where, like, like the guy runs in and jumps the girl and stuff like that. But only reason I'm not a fan, because you can do an intergender match, make it believable, where the girl looks like she can win, but also doesn't look too much on, like, because the biggest thing, because I have daughters too, so I feel what you're talking about is that, I don't want my daughters to turn and see a guy just punching a chick in the face, even if it's a work, because, you don't want to set that precedent that, oh, it's okay if a man has an issue with a girl to punch her in the face.
Well, I think it's different.
On the same token, is like, this is all a work, so it's all stuff that, most of us are smarting our kids that watch up to the business. Like, my kids are smart to the business, so they know that even though I may look hurt or I may actually be hurt when I get home, it's not someone trying to physically hurt me.
Yeah, well,
they know shit goes wrong.
I think and part of the difference is, and Warren Hayes talked about this on Twitter, is the fact that it's not just a guy walking up and punching a woman. I mean, she agreed to take that fight, and they're going to fight, and so I can see that. But that's a tougher thing to explain to kids. And let's not forget, look, Vince McMahon's empire was built off of one guy pretty much, and it's Hulk Hogan. And when I was a kid, I got taken to WWF events where Hulk Hogan was there, and he was the biggest star in the world. So even through the Attitude Era,
when you were a kid, you were going to see Bruno Sammartino.
Shut your ass! I was not. I most definitely was not. Look, Hulk Hogan was the guy, and even though Vince went a different direction during the Attitude Era, I'm sure to this day, he's just pretty much got in the back of his mind, look, I know how this thing works. I know how this can work to get the kids involved and so on and so forth. So I'm with you, Mac Diesel. I totally agree. I love the fact that when you go to a wrestling show, and I've taken my son to wrestling shows when he was, several years younger than he was now. And if there's language going on around us, as soon as the kid shows up, the language stops, like when we were at a show in Houston, when Roman was still coming down through the crowd, and he actually came down in the aisle right next to where we were sitting, and we were in the middle of the row, and David just took off and started walking towards the end of the row, and everybody was making sure they got out of the way. So, come on, man, come on, so he could go get a high five from Roman Reigns. And that's what it's all about, man. I mean, that's super cool. Diesel, do you have kids? Do you take your kids to the shows?
I haven't yet. I have an infant currently, but as I said, you may end up with 2-3 children. You may have nieces and nephews. And as far as I wanted to touch on the female aspect, at the Royal Rumble, when Nia Jax entered the men's Rumble at number 30, I was incredibly disappointed. It wasn't the fact that she was female, because had it been, Rhea Ripley, I could probably name 110 other females that I would have bought as being strong and tough enough to carry that spot. I just don't believe Nia Jax in that spot. And you can't be critical, it seems these days, of a female without being called sexist, which I'm not. I loved Nia's character at first when she was a monster heel, but since, she became the Valley Girl, I don't know what you would call her little spat there, but she's been horrid. And then she comes out at number 30 in the men's Rumble, and she celebrated. I thought it was a big letdown, but I know a lot of people disagree with me, and that's an unpopular opinion. But I just didn't get it. But my point is if you have a young daughter and niece, you want them to see strong women to look up to. And I think that WWE is a good place to see that. You see a lot of strong women. You see a lot of women that hold their heads up high and, are, in a way, positive role models for these young ladies.
Yeah, I totally agree, Mac Diesel. And listen, thanks for the phone call, buddy. We always appreciate it, man. It's always good to hear your voice.
I'll see you.
And hope everything's going well for you up there in the cold weather there. Yeah, look, and I can only guess that part of the reason that Nia Jax was chosen is because she is far and away, regardless of what you think about her as a wrestler, she is far and away the most physically imposing woman on the roster in terms of just, her looks and her size and everything else. She looks like, if you throw her in there with Rey Mysterio and Mustafa Ali, then I look at it and go, yeah, she could probably hold her own against those guys. So, I didn't have a huge problem with it, but I totally understand where Mac Diesel's coming from, where if you say you're not a fan of a woman being in that spot, it comes off as being sexist. It's a slippery slope these days.
It
Some
really
people
is because, like I say, it's just the sad state of where America right now, or not even America, just times we're living in, is that people are hyper conscious about things and they don't want to get pegged as this. I mean, you can not like someone and not be like, I cannot like a woman that's dressed like a female worker and not be a sexist. Just that worker doesn't do anything for me as far as what I enjoy watching.
Totally agree with you. I wanted to get to this comment because I know Silky would appreciate it, and I'm trying to find it here. And thank you guys for chiming in on the chat line there. Always appreciate that. There it is. Mr. Warren Hayes. The Attitude Era did a number on Chris's hairline, says our good buddy, Mr. Warren Hayes there.
Good
always
stuff.
Appreciate that. I remember seeing Hogan back in the 80s, says Jody Mania. She knows what's up. Let's see. Brock only wants the money, plus he cares only about himself and his paycheck. Look, I would disagree, man. If you look at the way Brock Lesnar goes out there and sells for these guys, that he really...
it's a byproduct, I think, of he likes that money, and long as he keeps making Vince's stars look good.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying it's not all about him. I mean, he's going out there and putting these guys over, man. I mean, come on.
I still think, and he's almost made it almost public that, he's there because of the money and the freedom he gets to work when he want to work. And so, but that doesn't mean just because that's where he's there that he doesn't do a damn good job when he shows up. And like Brock Lesnar will sell his ass off. He's underrated in his selling because I just don't know. Because everyone expects him to just dominate. But when you go back and look, even if in a dominating performance, there is some offense. And he makes, even if they get 5 minutes or 2 minutes of offense and the rest is Brock Lesnar, that 2 minutes, Brock makes you like, damn, I think this guy could pull it off,
Yeah.
So I will always give Brock respect for that.
Absolutely. How's Nia not believable? She's almost 6 feet tall and built to take bumps. Yeah. I mean, again, I didn't have a huge problem with it.
It's not believable. He's talking about not believable her character, not like her physical stature.
Exactly. Sasha Reigns would have gone with Toni Storm there. Do you think they bring up China eventually with all these intergender stuff? I don't know. We shall see. China did win the Intercontinental title, so I wonder if they'll even mention it. We shall see. Everyone's just too damn sensitive now, says John Baez, and I'm not going to disagree with you there. There are a lot of people that look for something to get upset about. Thank you all for the super hearts. We appreciate that, Turnbuckle Chick. Brock has only put over Roman. The rest he beats and only loses to parts. Look, if you want to talk about putting over in terms of victories, yeah. Brock is going to be... They're going to be very careful about who beats Brock Lesnar. Yeah. And again, we've talked about it. In the last several years, it's pretty much been Goldberg and Roman Reigns.
Pretty much.
And that's it.
Just since he made his comeback
that's why he's
years
such
ago.
A big deal, though, man.
When was it? 2015, 2016, when he came back after all those years being gone, when he hit John Cena with the the F5.
Yeah.
Since then, he's really lost to John Cena, Triple H, Roman Reigns, and that's it.
That's it. That's all I can think of. And that's the thing, man. That's what makes Brock Lesnar a big deal, is because he doesn't lose. And it's not this 50-50 booking shit that we all complain about. There's got to be guys that win a lot. And that's what making stars is all about. We argue that WWE doesn't make stars. Well, part of the reason is because there's very few people who win a lot. And let's face it, when you're in a competitive sport, even if it is predetermined, if you're going to be a star, you better fucking win a lot. And that's not to say that there's going to be exceptions. There always are. Becky Lynch is an exception. She's getting her ass kicked left and right. She's probably the biggest star in the company right now in terms of popularity. Mm-hmm. But more often than not,
Stone Cold,
they got to win. They got to win, and they got to build up by winning. That's the way it's got to go. Yeah, Mac Diesel, right on. He's talking about the character, and that's what he was saying. Goldberg is Lesnar's daddy in the ring. Okay. And that's true. Yeah, we are very overly sensitive these days. So let's talk about this briefly, Silky, because we've had a fantastic time talking with everyone. But one of the things we did want to mention was the announcement that both Dean Ambrose and now Hideo Itami will be leaving WWE. And one of the takes that I saw, and I'm interested to hear your take, yours specifically, and those of you in the chat room as well, was that I saw quite a few people saying something along the lines of, well, yeah, of course Dean's going to leave. I mean, look at what they've done to him. Look at what they haven't done anything with him. They've been floundering. He's been floundering. They haven't done anything with his character, blah, 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 this and that. I went back and took a look. Dean Ambrose has been a WWE champion. Yeah. He is a 3-time Intercontinental champion. He's a 2-time tag team champion with Seth Rollins. He had what is, in this modern incarnation of the United States Championship, the longest United States Championship reign at 351 days, damn near a year. He won the Royal Rumble, he won the Money in the Bank, and successfully cashed in his Money in the Bank. He had a WrestleMania match against Brock Lesnar. We've already talked about what a huge star Brock Lesnar is. He had the gimmick match against Chris Jericho, the Ambrose Asylum match, or whatever that was, where Jericho ended up on the tax and everything like that. So I look at that take and I say to myself, what else was WWE supposed to do for Dean Ambrose that they didn't already do? They put every major belt in the company on the guy. They put him against big, huge name, Hall of Fame talent. At some point, doesn't it become incumbent on Dean Ambrose to get himself over and be happy with what? I mean, what am I missing? What am I missing? Is what I'm asking. What did WWE not do?
I mean, because Dean Ambrose can get himself over, but at the same time, what got him over, they ended up changing, because when he was in his height of popularity, he was that lunatic fringe, that the wild card of the group. You never knew what he was going to do, what he was going to say, what triggered him, anything like that. But essentially they turned him into they start first going back with the Jericho thing. They basically turned him into a prop comic with the fucking Mitch the Plant and things like that.
But did he ever really achieve? Because I'll just in terms of being 100% transparent here, I was never a huge Dean Ambrose fan. I didn't dislike Dean Ambrose. But, I mean, I could think of 10 other guys right off the top of my head that I'd rather watch than Dean Ambrose. It's not that Dean Ambrose is bad. It's just, he never really did anything for me. So, did he really take the ball and run with it and do as much as he possibly could have to further his career and make himself into a bigger star? I mean, there was the big controversy about him going on Stone Cold's podcast and Stone Cold not really being all that impressed with him. Yeah. So, again, I see takes like that, and I wonder, I know it's chic and it's the in thing to do to blame WWE when things don't go well, but they did a lot for Dean Ambrose.
And I mean, I wouldn't say that his career did poorly, like you said, because of what they've done for him, but it's just you grow to like a character and then they change it up and you're like, okay. It's just think of your favorite TV show. What's one of your favorite characters? I'm asking you.
Oh, shit. I don't know. Well, I'm a big fan of The Bachelor, so, I could see where, you got one of these.
Actual TV show, though. One of the
I love The Sopranos. I thought The Sopranos.
yeah,
was
Tony
great.
Soprano. So you have this image of what Tony Soprano was for season after season after season, right?
Right.
So what if you turned on the TV one day and all of a sudden Sopranos made Tony Soprano like basically the underling bitch?
No, I hear you.
And you would stop watching, or you would be like, "This is bullshit. I don't like this show anymore. I don't like this character anymore."
Well, and
that's pretty much what's happened to Dean. Is like what got him over. They started going away from it to get like the cheap laughs, like I say, the prop comic era.
They said, did WWE say we want you to do this? We want you to do
This
that?
is WWE in the modern era, like the 2000s. Nothing goes on there. People don't have that unless you're like John Cena. Or Rock or Brock Lesnar, you don't have that freedom to go out there and do whatever the fuck you want to do.
Well, I'm not saying he's just going to go out and do whatever he wants.
If they tell you, you have a little leeway when they tell you, but on some level, they had to tell him, get this plan over.
Well, that's my thing. And again, I'm going to say this as well. First of all, I wonder how much of that Dean Ambrose was like, yeah, dude, that's cool. I'll give that a shot. You know, we'll see. We don't know. We don't know how much of it was WWE forcing it down his throat. And how much of it
doesn't
was
matter
Dean
if it was forced or if they came up with it and he didn't like it, but he's like, I'll give it a shot. Let me try to get it over. It's still the point of it was a bad fucking idea.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
That's fair.
No matter if he agreed to it or not, a bad idea is a bad idea. And I mean, you
and the other
take
thing is,
so many missteps, and then like when look at his title reign, it was wildly forgettable. Besides the fact, I mean, name something that happened in his title reign.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Besides that, he lost it to AJ Styles.
But that's
was about
thing.
it.
Like at some
it wasn't
point,
memorable.
I mean, look at I go back to this all the time because they gave Dusty Rhodes fucking yellow polka dot fucking trunks and said, go out there and just do it. You know, probably just a throwaway fucking thing. And Dusty Rhodes got it. Now, Dusty Rhodes, one of the greatest of all time, so that's a fucking high bar there. Now, the other thing I will say, we don't really know the reason that Ambrose is leaving.
Or if he actually is. I mean,
and a lot of people are saying that it could be a work, but you know, we don't know is it because he's unhappy with the character? Is he just fucking done with wrestling right now? Somebody said it in the chat room earlier. Maybe he just wants a fucking break. Maybe he just wants to get away for a little while. I mean, we don't know. But the idea that it was WWE's fault and hey, and I get what people are saying. You know, people saying, look, he shouldn't have been doing stupid stuff like getting shots in the ass and everything like that. And I totally agree. That was totally stupid. Daniel Price says John Moxley's been inside screaming to get out, and that could very well be the case. Let's see. Or if any of the mob bosses saw Tony and the therapist and crying, they'd shoot him on the spot. That's true. Also, the same Vince that booked a laptop as a general manager, it had it turn out to be a midget. He got major heat with the heel turn and then started getting shots in his ass. Yeah, look, I mean, that's another thing. We're just a couple of months removed from Ambrose turning heel on Rollins, and that was a huge deal. And people were on cloud fucking 9. And then it just went in the shitter. It just went completely downhill.
Like the whole thing was just bad from the execution of, because one, I just think that they didn't really build it up because of, and I think the hokey shit was what took people out of it, because you'd expect a blood feud, you know what I mean? Especially if you turned on them not only after you winning the tag team titles, but after a guy that you guys all have, called each other brothers, says he's going out with this horrible illness, and then you turn on me. You know, I'm coming for blood. I'm not coming. Fuck the title. Fuck this. If I was booking, that shit would have been booked into a non-sanctioned match where they can just, you guys got
absolutely
20 minutes,
go
out there, beat the fuck out of each other, and we'll go from there.
And instead, we got Seth Rollins, arguably the most popular male wrestler on the fucking roster, and Dean Ambrose, who just done this amazing heel turn, getting a "this is boring" chant on their pay-per-view, which fuck that crowd. I mean, never mind that. But holy shit, I mean, how... That's crazy. It's crazy that seemed like absolute gold when it happened.
Yeah.
And for it to fall flat as quickly as it did was just majorly disappointing for sure. What's up to you, Tara? She agrees with you, Silky, so that's always good. Or Tara. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but we shall see. His cash in and beating Roman in the Shield triple threat. That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, their match for an IC wasn't even an Extreme Rules match, just a regular singles match. Yeah, it's just they feel like they totally could have done more with it. And Hideo Itami, look, I
mean,
he's 205 Live guy. He had a shit ton of injuries that didn't help at all.
Yeah. Definitely, but I mean, before the injuries, it was like they made this big deal because I'm a big Japanese wrestling fan, so I knew of Kenta, like seeing him work Ring of Honor. Like I've go back to old school Ring of Honor, see Kenta versus Bryan Danielson, Kenta versus Samoa Joe, Kenta versus Nigel McGuinness. Like these are phenomenal matches. See how the Go to Sleep is supposed to look.
No shit, right?
And so when he got signed and they brought him in, I mean, they did the thing, and then they basically, it was unfortunate. He's, I think, a victim of unfortunate circumstances around when he signed, kind of like what we said with EC3. He signed around the time Ricochet and all these other bigger names.
Yeah. Yeah.
So think about it, right after they signed is when they brought Balor from New Japan.
Yeah.
And then quickly pushed Balor to the side.
Yeah.
I mean, pushed Itami to the side because I think Balor's first match was when he was the mystery partner of Hideo Itami when the Ascension were beating him up.
Well, and here's the thing. Hideo Itami can waltz right back into whatever promotion he wants to over in Japan and be a major fucking star. So I don't have a huge problem with that. I don't think that's any kind of huge surprise. To me, Dean Ambrose was a bit more surprising. But at the same time, you know, we don't know his motivation. We don't know whether or not he's just dying to be somewhere else. We don't know if, like somebody else said in the chat here, that, you know, maybe John Moxley's in there just wanting to get back out again. We'll see how it plays out for sure. And Terra it is. I will get that right going forward. The irony is he was beating the hell out of himself and Noah, and he was fine. He goes to NXT, and he's constantly on the shelf, says Daniel Price. Yeah. And Pro Wrestling Noah, not really the same as it was when he left. So,
yeah,
you know, it could be seeing him going New Japan word or maybe Dragon's Gate. I don't know. We shall see. All right, let's get out of here on this question. Get the Table says, what will you remember most from Dean Ambrose in his WWE run if he's in fact out the door?
The Shield.
I was going to say, I got to say his time.
It's got to
with
be the Shield.
I mean, the first run of the Shield.
Yeah, the first run. Maybe secondary to that is the night that all of them held the title.
Which was crazy.
Yeah, just to think about it, because it's one of those things that, like, I didn't think about once he cashed in until I think either it was that night or the next night on Raw when they made a mention. I was like, wait a minute, they show the fuck is right. Like, Roman had it, then lost it to Seth, and who lost it to Dean all in one night. So that rarely ever happens. I mean, and just it's got to be the Shield, hands down. I mean, that's probably a group that will go into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
when you think
totally
about
agree.
It. And I'm not speaking, you know, I don't think I'm speaking too ahead. Just if you just off the accolades, I mean, what other group do you know that literally every one of them with three or more, we'll say three or more people, every one of them was a world champion. Every one of them was Intercontinental champion. Every one of them was U.S. champ. Every one of them was tag team champ.
Yeah, it's
like
insane.
Grand Slam champ. Like, that doesn't happen. I think the closest would be, or the only other one I can think of is Evolution.
Evolution, I was going to say, yeah.
That was about it. And really, most of those, like Ric Flair, world title reigns were before he was in Evolution.
Yeah.
And so I think that the Shield will be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, I totally agree. There's no
if
question
not
about
individually, definitely as a group.
Yeah, definitely. And I tend to agree. That's what I'll remember most about Ambrose as well. We'll see if, in fact, it is a work and maybe he does stick around, but it certainly seems like at this point he's on his way out the door. Folks, absolutely fantastic show tonight. We're very appreciative of all of you for joining us. Thank you very much for all the Super Hearts. We are very grateful for all of those. You want to shout out all our Super Heart donors here tonight, here, Silky?
Anthony, Bill, Mike Kenobi.
The mic drop.
Mic drop.
Yeah, that's right.
Turnbuckle Chick, Black Diesel, Mr. Stone Cold Stunner, and fucking Otis Section. And it's nothing
Otis
against
Section
you.
is beautiful. He just doesn't like Otis Dozovic.
Yeah, I just don't like Otis Dozovic.
Black Diesel, you are going to be Black Diesel from now on. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. So, all right, gang. Well, thank you so much for being with us. I saw a couple of you in the chat mentioning the shirt. Once again, the heel turn imminent Speez on the Benchmark shirt available. If you hit us up on Twitter, at Speez Benchmark, just send us a direct message and let us know what size you need. $20. That's shipping included, everything, and we'll get one sent off your way. Be like our boy Juanito and Darren Kirby across the pond and get the tables, and all those guys got their Speez and the Benchmark shirts. Get you one as well. We would be very appreciative of that. And once again, if you're not subscribed to us on YouTube and on Periscope, we hope you will do that and continue to join us.
And no FX, of course, it's going to be Patriots winning the Super Bowl.
Yes, we got the Patriots coming up this weekend. You can expect Silky in full Patriots garb on Monday night.
Yes, you can.
If, in fact, they do pull off the victory
pull
this
Seth
weekend.
Rollins and be like, I hate football more than I've ever hated football before if they lose.
Exactly, he will. All right, anything else to say to the people before we say goodnight, Silky?
February 23rd, Falls County, where me against T-Ray at the KD's Elks Lodge for DZW. DZW
Inc. on Facebook is where you can get most of your information. DZWrestling.com is the website. We are back Monday night following Monday Night Raw, 10 p.m. Central Time. And, of course, every Thursday here at 8 p.m. Central on the Speez and the Benchmark Show. For the Benchmark, Silky Baines.
Yo.
Chris Bezak, thank you so much for being with us, everybody. We will see you next time. Have a good night, everybody.